Okay. All right. Let me see if I can get this to go down a little bit lower. Think you can see me better. I'll just sit up. How about that? Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Nas. Just getting set up. Make yourself comfortable. Get you some water. Turning on my PC. Hello? Hi, everybody. For those of you who are just coming in, okay, I'm almost done. Video is running a little slow tonight. Okie dokie. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit better. Let's see if that's better. Nope, that's worse. I guess this is going to be it. I'll just sit up a little bit. Hi, Brenda King. Hi, Dan. Hello, Blessed 2. Hello, Southern Red Sugar. Hi, Tamika Homestead Murphy. Welcome, everybody. It's exactly 7 o'clock. Hi, Angela. Good to see you, Miss B. Washington, Carrie Holder. Brenda Allen, how do I use my hair products? Can you email me and tell me specifically what you need to know, and I will be happy to help you. Hi, Lori Ann. Hi, Aunt Tia. Hi, Ladybug Palmer. Debbie Epps, good to see you. Hi, Pit Stop Kitchen and Garden. How's everybody doing? Let's see if I can adjust this. Let's see if I can tilt this a little bit. Yeah, I think I got it. I think one of my grand angels might have been messing with it. Yeah, there we go. Much better. Mama, sister, daughter, how you doing? Hey, Best Yet. I think I've spoken to everybody that's in here. Okay, guys, let's go with our first question in all caps. While you're doing that, I'm just telling you guys I'm so thankful for cooler weather, even though it's stirring up a lot of allergies. Hi, Nadine. First time coming to a live. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Nadine, I ask that everybody hit the like button. I also ask that if you have a question, to put it in all caps so this old lady can see it better. Sometimes the stream goes fast and sometimes it goes slow. So anything you want to ask pertaining to gardening, canning, or preserving, please do so at this time. And then I'll talk about a few things that I have on the agenda today. Hello, Eco Neighbor. And I'm just grateful that the weather is a little cooler. But it's windy and it's stirring up a lot of allergies in a lot of people. My son called me and asked me what to take because has it real bad this time of year too. Hi, Shelley. Hi, Miss B. Washington. I don't see any questions, so right now, oh, here they come. Antia, I got my comfrey from a merchant on eBay. It is Russian blocking 14, and you can't grow it from seeds. You must grow it from a cutting, and you only need a little small piece, and it'll take off like you wouldn't believe. So check out merchants on eBay. AC wants to know, do I take cuttings off of my fruit trees? If so, when? I haven't done it. I gotta put my big girl hat on and start doing it. I bought the equipment to start air layering, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But I do know that now is a good time to do it in the fall. In some areas, like where I live, you can do it even in the winter time because it doesn't get that cold here as opposed to where I grew up in Indiana. Mama, sister, daughter, I think is next. Do I need to cut back a peppermint pin to overwinter it? No. Let me know where you are, mama, sister, daughter. Where I live, it just comes back in zone 8A. Peppermint grows like a weed. It usually is the first thing to pop up in the spring if you don't live in a warmer climate, say zone 8A or higher. So let me know where you are and I can answer your question in more detail. Okay, Brenda Allen, Lady Cheryl. Can I can my tomatoes without skinning them? Brenda Allen, I have a video on how I make my pasta sauce. I don't skin tomatoes. I keep the skins on it for fiber. It's very good for you. Some people say there's more nutrition in the skin as opposed to the inside of the tomato. So I have a commercial blender. I'm sure you can use a regular blender, and I just pulverize them. I don't even take the core out or the seeds. I remove the stem, but not the skin. Nadine Norton wants to know, can I bring my pepper plants inside to overwinter? It gets really cold in Connecticut during the winter. The answer to your question is, and I just saw you, mama, sister, daughter, just a minute. The answer to your question is yes, but you're in Connecticut and you have to get a lot of snow. So unless you have someplace warm to bring them inside or someplace above freezing, Connecticut, you probably have a basement. You could do that. You want to cut them down to about 1 foot high or 2 feet high, depending on how old they are. And yes, but if you have a room, like a grow room, and you can put them under lights, they can even produce peppers during the winter. But I don't advise overwintering peppers in any climate below 8, growing zone 8. Yeah, mama, sister, daughter, you don't need to do anything. Your peppermint will come back in zone 8A. We're in the same zone, so you will never see me bringing any peppermint inside or planting any more for that matter, because it grows like a weed. Nadine Horton, by the way, my allergies have been horrible over the past 2 weeks. Yeah, it's the weather change. You're welcome, Brenda. Can you tell us a little history about your gardening experience? Eco Neighbor, you're going to make this live boring tonight because most people know about it. But I'll give you a 5-minute breakdown, if or less. for you. I'll do that for you, Eco Neighbor. Let's see. Where do I start? I always was fascinated with seeds. I used to go door to door selling seeds with my two siblings. My baby sister, well, I only have one sister, a few years younger than me, and a brother a year or so younger than me. And we used to sell gardening seeds door to door back in the day when it was safe, when children could do that. Children come up missing now, so they don't know nothing about selling greeting cards and seeds to make extra money. And we would try to grow some of them in the topsoil in our backyard. But the only thing we really got to grow really well, because of the weather in Indiana, that's where I'm from, was carrots, because they did well. And some greens, of course. So anyway, I always loved plants, and I married a few weeks after I turned 20 years old. And I had a lot of indoor house plants. And by the way, I met my husband in Indiana. I'm a widow, and we were married for a very long time. And he was from Mississippi, and we lived there for 6 years. I'm getting the cart ahead of the horse. But I wasn't growing food in my 20s. I was just growing a lot of house plants. But then the steel mill industry collapsed in the 80s, and the work dried up, and everybody started moving out of East Chicago, Indiana, and Illinois, because the steel mills were closing down and laying a lot of people off. So we moved to Mississippi. And by the way, my husband grew up on a 48-acre farm where they had, you know, pigs and cows and chickens, and grew all of their most of their vegetables. So he knew a lot about gardening. And so it was then that I was introduced to growing food. But as a child, my grandparents grew food, and I used to watch them and help them in the garden. So I guess my love for gardening probably started with my grandparents, and then it transitioned into house plants. And then when we were relocated to Mississippi for 6 years, I started growing food. Then we came back to a larger city. We moved to Texas, and we moved around a little bit, but we finally purchased our second home because we bought a house in Mississippi. But we purchased the house that I'm in right now, and I always had a few little things like tomatoes. He grew a little okra. We had a few fruit trees, pepper plants, things like that. And then as the years went by, we just started growing more and more. And my husband died of a brain aneurysm, and I was left to take care of the trees that we had. And I went through a mental thing where I had a landscaper come in and cut them all down, because it wasn't my thing, it was his. And it caused a lot of problems without drainage. And I'm not going to say I had a breakdown, but I was working 2 jobs. I was grieving. I was angry because I wanted to, I was working 2 jobs, managing and teaching at a beauty school. Still had a small hair salon, and I was still selling my natural products. A lot of things were involved, but I came to the conclusion I couldn't handle a garden, and I regretted that decision even to this day. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Betty. But long story short, as the years went by and I dealt with my grief, I realized that I still had a love for gardening, so I started growing more and more. And finally, I was close to the end of paying the mortgage off, and I was getting close to being retired. I only had to work, I think, about 2 more years, but my health failed me, and I had to have major surgery. I was in surgery for 4.5 hours. You asked, so I'm telling this long, drawn-out story. But all I kept thinking was, when I retire, I'm going to grow all my fruit trees again. I'm going to grow all the stuff I've always wanted to grow. The kids are grown, out of the house, married on their own. I took one of the guest bedrooms and turned it into a green room. And I said I was going to buy my dream greenhouse, and the Lord blessed me. I was able to do all of that. And so, long story short, that's how I'm here today. And my backyard looks like a jungle, but I love it. I'm happy. It brings me peace. I'm also able to help other people, and I'm teaching my grandchildren. You can tell by my videos. We work very hard. I work in the garden and in the food forest every single day. So I hope I answered your question. I didn't want to, give you a long drawn out answer, but I was able to retire sooner than I wanted to because of my health. So I retired at the age of 60. And it was from that point on, it was just no stopping me. Every time I saw a tree that I was interested in, I would do research, I would buy books. I found out what grew best in Texas. I have a lot of books. I'm just going to share these two with you tonight because I do believe in organic gardening. And then this book, and I've shown them in several lives before, but I have a lot of new subscribers, and they want to know how I got started, what's the story behind me. And so I wanted to share with you that you can grow more fruit trees in your backyard than you think. And these two books I purchased from Amazon. So you can go back and watch the video if you didn't get a screenshot. You can go back and get this information. Now, what I want to tell you about the food forest tonight is, where are my notes? And I'm going to go back to the questions. Is how to grow a cheap, healthy fall and winter garden. Now, I don't want to knock anybody that does transplants, but I don't buy that many, hardly any in the summertime. But in the fall of the year, when I can have a better garden than I can in the summertime, I will buy brassicas. If you're new to gardening, brassicas are your cabbages, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, and some hardy greens are considered brassicas, like collards. Now, I can grow collards, any kind of green, very well, even in 100-degree temperature. But I have difficulty growing collards, cabbage, and broccoli. Not collards, I'm sorry. Collards, say it again. Cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower. And by the way, when I dropped my orders off at the post office today for my natural hair and skincare products, I went by Home Depot. They didn't have anything. They had a few plants outside, nothing inside, and the ones they had outside looked like they were in shock. I don't know if it's because of the drastic temperature change or they weren't completely hardened off from Bonnie's greenhouse to Home Depot, but they looked horrible. I didn't buy anything. And that's rare for me to go looking for some plants and couldn't find anything I wanted to buy. So getting back to the cheap and healthy food, the easiest things to grow from seeds are your greens, your spinach, different types of kale, different types of collards, different varieties of mustards, and what else? Turnips, rutabaga, beets. All of those things thrive in cool weather. In fact, some of them can take even degrees as low as below zero. And they don't cost a lot because all of those seeds, you get plenty of them in the package. And plus, if you deal with heirloom varieties like I do, you can let a few plants go to seed and save them for the next year. Another thing I want to bring up to you is you can reuse your container soil. You don't have to go out and buy new soil every time you want to start a garden for a different time of the year. I mix in compost with the gardening container soil, or sometimes I'll just use it and layer it between the old plants and kitchen scraps and things like that, and I'll put a layer of the container soil. Because I had the emergency garden, I had a lot of stuff growing in containers. So now I'm replenishing my compost because I ran out. Another thing you can do is catch rainwater. People always ask me, do you have a high water bill because you have so many trees and plants growing? And the answer is no. It's only maybe $10 or $15 than it was, well, maybe a little bit more than that, than it was a few years ago, because I store a lot of rainwater. I catch it. So all you need to do is put a rain barrel or a 55-gallon drum or a 33-gallon garbage can and catch that rainwater. It's better for your garden anyway. And if you're working and you're outside of the home and you don't have time to check on your transplants all the time, then go ahead and buy some transplants. They're not really expensive. And sometimes you can catch them on sale. So those are the main things I wanted to talk about, how you can make a garden affordable. Reuse your soil, replenish it with compost, and try to grow as much as you can by seeds. This is a wonderful time in most areas to just broadcast seeds. You don't have to start them inside in the summertime like I do, or outside and bring them inside. You can just broadcast them right now, right into the soil, right into the ground, right into a raised garden bed or a container. Okay, another thing is, this is my favorite time of year. Hi, so. Hey, my sister is in here, Elaine Talley. How you doing? Another thing I do this time of year is, now that we're not in 100 degrees where I live, and it's not 90 degrees, it's barely in the 80s. I understand it's going to get in the 80s maybe next week. Now is the time to get rid of those menacing insects and pests that are in your yard. Okay? You know, I kept telling everybody, don't put sprays on your plants because the sun will fry them. But now, because temperatures are below 85 degrees, now is the time to spray. So the first thing I want to show you, and I dropped the top as I was working outside today, but it's pure cold pressed neem oil. And somebody's going to email me and they're going to tell me, can they use a spray that has neem oil in it? And I don't recommend that, but this time of year it is safe. But a lot of them, if you're an organic gardener, they will have ingredients in them that are not organic. So if you just get the pure cold pressed neem oil, you would take 1 tablespoon to a gallon of water and add a few drops of dish soap. And you can, if you have a lot of insects, if you have an infestation, you can put a whole ounce of pure cold pressed neem oil, and you can get this on eBay, Amazon, and most big box stores. Are there any questions on that? Okay. You're welcome, Christy. I'm going to back up. Shelly says my backyard looks like Eden to me. Well, my oldest told me it looks like a jungle, but I told him I love my jungle. Okay, and the next question is, what is your favorite plant or tree in the garden this season? It would have to be my Fuyu persimmon, because it has such an unusual shape to it. It's Asian Fuyu, and it reminds me, and I'm not just saying this because my sister-in-law Elaine is in here, and she's part Japanese, and she has a lot of oriental things in her home, but the way the limbs are shaped and how they flow is so abstract. It's just a beautiful tree, and it has a delicious fruit. And this year, for the first time, I'm going to try to make persimmon wine. and they're getting ripe, and it's just so beautiful for my grand angels to go out and look at the beautiful shape of the tree. And the tree has real small branches, but they're very strong. And so when it's loaded with fruit, it bends like a curve, and it just hangs, and the fruit is really attached to it very well. And right now they're turning gold, and pretty soon we'll be harvesting them and eating them. So that's my favorite tree, and the favorite thing for me to grow in the garden. I don't have one. I'm going to say it's the variety of greens, because I do a lot of greens, and I will harvest them all before it gets real cold, and that'll last me for next year. And then another thing I like to grow in the greenhouse is tomatoes, because very few people in my area in the wintertime grow tomatoes, and I like to be a little bit different. Okay. Another thing about my story about how I came to the love of gardening is that as I was growing, I started growing more herbs and spices and incorporated them into my diet, because I am a cancer survivor, 29 years. And my love for cosmetology and gardening intersected by me learning a lot about the different herbs and oils and essential oils and natural oils. I kind of merged that love for hair, skin, and nails with the love for gardening with, am I making sense? They kind of crossed. And so some of the ingredients in my natural hair and skincare, I'm going to get up and show you one thing right here. This is my fragrance oil. It doesn't have, and I'm not selling, I'm just sharing it with you. It doesn't have a label or anything on it. I'm going to bring it in close so you can see. That is the Texas Star hibiscus that I first started growing for medicinal, for medicinal purposes, because drinking the tea of that flower lowers, any hibiscus flower, lowers your blood pressure. And then the more I started researching it, I found out that it has a lot of vitamin C and a lot of skin and hair softening properties. So cosmetology and the gardening, they kind of intersected. And that's how, I started making the natural products. Okay, so I think I've answered your question, AC. I like to grow tomatoes and peppers in the wintertime in the greenhouse, and I like to grow kale, collards, cabbage, mustard, all that stuff outside. And my favorite plant this time of year is the persimmon. Hello, Erica. Okay. We love sprouts, woman to woman. Okay. Somebody said they bought broccoli, cauliflower, and they noticed the bugs are still out, so I will wait a week or two or try it again. I don't think you need to wait. Just put some tulle or insect covering over it. You don't need to wait. You need to get them strong and healthy. They need to be growing now in the cooler temperature, so that when the freezing temperature comes, that they will be mature enough to withstand a lot of cold. Your granddaughter is too cute. She is glimpsed of you as a child. Yeah, my son-in-law brings her over every morning, and he tells me she's my mini-me, because she imitates me. Okay. All right. Thank you, Tia. I don't know why cheese sandwiches want to come in here. We're not going to give them any energy tonight. I don't have any moderators in here right now. So somebody just put in all caps a cheese sandwich and then I'll look for it. I think I deleted it. Okay. So nice to be able to use the secret benefits of nature. Amen. Tia, there no moderators are here right now, but I would like to make you a guest moderator. So if you see something, you have the ability to just click on the three dots on the right-hand side and just take them out. If you type something, let's see if your name comes up as a moderator. And my sister is in here. Elaine, a cheese head or a cheese sandwich is somebody saying nasty things. Just take them out. I'm going to add you as a moderator. If you type something in, you'll see, Elaine, you have a blue wrench. Hi, Lady Sapphire. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, I want to know everybody to know that Lady Sapphire caught one of my lives or a replay, and she was able to find that Ball's Candy book I've been wanting. I think I mentioned to you guys that Amazon, and a merchant on Amazon, was selling it for $170. And she bought some for me. 3 of them at a very reasonable price. And I'm repaying her and shipping. And I'm going to give one to my daughter. And I'm going to give one of them to one of you guys in my live. When I specifically do something about canning, somebody will win that book. And that's all thanks goes to Lady Sapphire. I really appreciate what you did for me. Somebody said they stewed some dinosaur kale. Very good. What did you grow inside? Miss D, if that's a question toward me, make sure you put it in all caps. I grow all of my seeds inside. I rooted my black turkey fig trees from pencil-sized cuttings inside during a winter about 3 years ago. I have videos on that if you look in my playlist. And they were unrooted cuttings that I got from eBay, and they grew figs in 4 months' time. And now they're 7, 8, 9 feet tall. Somebody asked about, how about Captain Jack's? I don't know what you're talking about. That name sounds familiar, but you need to say more to refresh my memory. I guess somebody having a private conversation about kale collards and whatever. Do you ever teach at school? I taught beauty school for 30 years and managed beauty school. So that's where my instructional training comes from. I've been told that I can break things down simple. And I taught cosmetology instructors. So, yeah, I guess that's why you're asking that, Mr. Bigdom. And I've had another opportunity recently. I'm going to be doing next year 2 Zoom conferences on with a library. They approached me. And that was a blessing. And I'm going to be doing water bath canning and pressure canning in a Zoom class. Yes, less sunshine and neem oil is the way to go in the South. Thank you, Eco Neighbor. So that leads me to the next product I want to talk about. I've had this 4 years. It's a little expensive, but it's worth it. You can see it's still a lot of product in this bottle. It's called Orange Oil by Medina. If you have ants, now is the time to use this. The same directions that I gave you for the neem oil. A tablespoon in a gallon of water. If you have an infestation of ants, you can put 1 to 2 ounces of it in a gallon of water, and you can flood your plants and your garden beds, your rugs, however you grow in containers. It will knock them out. Okay. Any questions on the orange oil? Again, I got it from Amazon. You only need a little. I don't use it in the summertime. Okay, the girly, please put your question next time in all caps because I'll bypass it, but I got it. Is that the persimmon tree that is good for hot persimmon pudding? I don't know which variety. All persimmons will be good for pudding. For pudding, you just need to get. You just need to research. You need to go to buy books or go to farmersalmanac.com and put your zone in and the question about what trees to grow for your area. That's how I learned. I can get up and go get some more books and show you. But, well, I think I got one right here. Fruit and vegetable gardening, plants that grow and eat the best edibles for Texas gardeners. So I got like 3 different books from 3 master gardeners, and I took their recommendation. Something's in my pocket. Oh, my hand sanitizer when I went to the post office. And it'll tell you need to find one for your area, your growing zone, or your state. Let's see if you all can see that. And you will learn what grows best for you. So the Fuyu persimmon will grow well for me, but it may not grow for somebody that lives in Chicago. So you have to do your research. Okay? All right. Okay, the next, you're welcome. Hi, Kathy from Living Miracle Homestead. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Hello, crystals, pets, and plants. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to another oil. Because I have so many, and you guys know I'm an organic gardener. This one is an all season. Can you see that? It told me to hold it on the angle. All season horticultural dormant spray. You can spray it all seasons, but I don't because in Texas it has oil in it. It gets too hot. So now is the time for me to go spray all of my fruit trees. And again, this is an organic product. It kills eggs, scale, spider mites, and you can use it for every season. It says right here that it's concentrated and you can use it all year round. Again, it has a lot of oil in it. Don't use this in the summertime. Now is the time to kill eggs. Okay, do I have another oil? I got a lot of email about this Ivy Organic. This is what I used in the last video with Brian and Bria and I painting the trees. And one lady even said she saw people painting trees, but she didn't know what for. My grandfather used to take paint and dilute it with water. Some people believe that the latex will leach into the tree and the chemicals are not good for you. I do not know if this works. All I can tell you is I've seen a lot of people using it. It is organic. So nobody is sending me this to sponsor me or, paying me to say it's good. I will let you guys know what I think in about 3 months. But I did, it made a lot of sense because the essential oils in here, I have every last one of them. I wish I could purchase something to make that chalk to make it adhere to the tree, is what I'm trying to say. Can you spray the soil or just the leaves? Yolanda, you're talking about with the neem oil or the orange oil or the dormant oil, either one of them, you can spray the whole plants. Living Miracle says she have watched that guy from years, but I guess the organics. Okay. Have you ever tried it? Hi, Sandy Hamilton. I just don't endorse a product based upon somebody watched the video or I've watched the video. Like I said, I heard good things about it, but I'm going to wait and give you my assessment. Yeah, best yet, thank you. That is wonderful, the Zoom opportunity. It's an adult program for a library in New York. And I'm sure if that goes well, and usually with things like that, when you have a guest speaker, people will do a survey. And if they like your presentation, if they felt that you made it fun and interesting and they learned from you, they will invite you to come back. So I'm hoping that this will be a collaboration that will happen more than one time. Okay. Any help, ideas? Timora, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I see I gotta take somebody else out. Excuse me, guys. So what they do is they will come back with another name and come in your live and just say things instead of them spending time bettering themselves. They want to interrupt us, but we're not gonna let that happen. Thank you, Mama, Sister, Daughter. Mama, Sister, Daughter, I got it. I'm gonna make you a moderator. I'm not asking you. I'm just gonna do it. So let me see. So if a cheese sandwich comes in, you have the ability to take them out. Thank you very much, Yolanda. I have done a lot of things. Thank you, Antia. I've done a lot of things, but I don't like to talk about it too much unless somebody asks me specifically, because people will think sometimes you can come across as being boastful, and that's not my intent. But my work has been featured in a lot of stuff like the Reader's Digest, salon magazines, different stuff like that. Yeah, Yolanda, some people are just stupid. Yeah, they think they're going to disrupt us, but we're on the case. Okay, so I went over the 3 oils that I wanted to talk about. I went over the organic problem for the trees, whether it's rodents eating it or the bark of the trees. If you watch my last video, I'll show you what it looked like. And insects. And as we were putting that product on, the ants started coming out of the containers that the trees were in. And you know what, guys? This is weird. None of the trees in the ground were affected. Only the trees in containers or raised garden beds. My eyes, allergies feel crazy. That's something. None of the trees were affected that were in the ground. Hi, Miller's Garden. It's nice to see you. Okay. Yes, Yolanda. You could be sharing a blessing and people would think it's boasting. Does the production decrease when regrowing brassicas from cuttings? I've never grown a brassica from a cutting. Mel B, I don't know. And I think you want to ask, what are your thoughts on growing brassicas from cuttings? I've never done it. I don't even see why you would, when you can get the transplants so cheap, and your window for growing brassicas is so short. I don't understand why would you want to clone them. Okay, somebody said their comfrey plants are infested with ants. I've never seen any infestation on any of my comfrey. Now, you may not have the kind that I have. Did you grow it from seeds, Tracy? But in any event, I recommend this. The orange oil knocks out ants. But I would love to know Did you grow your comfrey from seeds? Neem oil for spider mites, Erica Jones. Neem oil. Timor, the container is soaked with water. Can I actually squeeze the water from the bottom? Squeeze the water. Your container doesn't have enough drainage holes, maybe? Just put some holes in it. I have gone out and used a screwdriver and just, I did. Because I did a video in the emergency garden. I had these 17-gallon blue containers I got from the company, the manufacturer's mainstay from Walmart. And I drilled holes, and I accidentally picked up the one that didn't have any holes. And then when I went to water it, after I got the plant and soil and all that in, it wasn't draining. And then I realized, I looked at the bottoms, oh gosh, I can't believe I picked up the one. So I had to go run in the house to get a screwdriver, and I just started punching holes all around the bottom. And about an inch from the bottom, so that made like a 1-inch reservoir for the water to soak up. So that's my advice for you. Just go in and get you a knife or a screwdriver and poke you some holes and let that water run out. Okay. Oh, Tracy says she bought the blocking 14. I've never had any infestation on any comfrey, but use the orange oil. Are some things better to be planted in the ground and not in containers? Trees. Trees always do better in the ground, but it depends on where you live. Where I live, we have a very rainy season, and the season is getting longer and longer, and then we go through a drought in the summer. So I can't put trees, and if you watch my life, you may have heard me say this several times, I've killed some trees. I've killed some peach trees and pear trees by getting them on sale, putting them in the ground during the wrong time of year. We got too much water, and they just started dying. And then when you actually dig them up, you just see a pool of water down there. So I started putting them in containers. And peach trees specifically, or stone fruit period, and cherry trees do not like wet feet. And I finally got them all in the ground. Brian and Bria, my grand angels, my daughter's children, they helped me get the last peach tree in the ground. And this week we're going to put 3 pawpaw trees in the ground, probably toward the weekend, and 2 pecan saplings. And my daughter called me on the way from home, and she just told me that her and her husband really like seeing their children happy, because they worked for me 2 hours with me in the garden, 2 hours on Saturday, and then I took them to McDonald's and got them a Happy Meal, and they feel like they got a paycheck. And then Sunday, they worked about 3 hours with me in the food forest, and I took them by to get a sundae at Dairy Queen. And these are memories that they're going to have for the rest of their life. And how do you know that, Lady Cheryl? It's because I have the same fond memories of helping my grandparents. My chopping up cabbage and cucumber, and slicing up stuff of my grandmother to make chow chow, and canning greens and canning peaches and snapping green beans. So I gave you an edited version, whoever that was, I think it was Eco Living, that asked me about what's my story on gardening. Excuse me. I gave you the short version. Well, a lot of it comes from the grandparents. You know why? Because the grandparents, by the time they're grandparents, most of them are retired, and they have the time to do all the stuff in the garden. Whereas my daughter has a very small garden. Because of the type of work she does and the work that her husband does, the kids are not learning a lot about gardening from them. So they're getting it from me. And I know if my husband was alive, that he would be showing them too. Yes, Living Miracle, loving memories. I will never forget my grandparents. My grandmother, she grew roses. They were her pride and joy. Just they had a really big house sit back in the yard and one long row of roses. I'll never forget them for as long as I live. And then of course they had their garden on the side of the house. Yes, beautiful blessings, mama, sister, daughter. McDonald's, I mentioned a Happy Meal. And they were already saying they were going to come this weekend to work. Hi, Mary. Good to see you. Okay. Okay, are there any more questions? Who is AC? Except the fig tree and blueberries. I'm missing something? Erica Jones wants to know, do you bury fish underneath your plants? My husband used to. I thought he was nuts. I knew he wasn't nuts. But I didn't know that about the fish guts. He didn't bury fish. He was a fisherman. He was an avid fisherman. I'm talking about deep sea fishing. Go to the church and come back with 100 pounds of fish. That type of fisherman. And he would clean everything, and he would bury a trench around the perimeter of the roots, maybe about 5 feet, 6 feet out, and he would bury all those fish heads and guts. Yes, Erica, I use fish fertilizer, especially on my greens. I use Alaskan fish fertilizer, anything that doesn't grow a root or a flower. And I use Neptune's fish fertilizer with seaweed on anything that grows a root or blooms. But I just don't use fish emulsion on everything because it's too much nitrogen. But you can do that for your beans and your greens. Hi, Lolita. Good to see you. Okay. Just a minute, guys. I'm just reporting somebody for explicit language. Okay, let's go back up. I missed another one. Are some things better to be planted in the ground? Did that one already. Lady Cheryl, I made potting mix using black cow, vermiculite, worm castings, organic potting soil. I planted a knee ponderosa lemon tree in it. Wonderful, Zach. You should have a good little healthy tree growing there. Okay, because we talked about that last week. Very good. Thank you for letting me know. That just does my heart. Very well. Okay. I wonder if that is why I have lost mine. What are you talking about, Kathy from Living Miracle Homestead? Lost what? And AC answered, except the fig tree and blueberries. Can somebody clue me in? Because I don't know what that is. Okay. Kathy Lee LeClaire, when you put the peach tree in the container, do you fertilize right away? I just bought mine. I don't give any fruit trees that are new any type of fertilizer. Organic, homemade, they don't need it. They just need to be concentrating on establishing roots. The next year, then you can give them comfrey tea, you can give them worm casting tea, you can give them worm castings, you can give them, did I mention comfrey tea? You can give them weed tea from or grass clippings, that type of stuff. I don't give any new tree any fertilizer whatsoever. They don't need it. You're not trying to put out any peaches right now. First 2 or 3 years, you don't even want to get fruit on them. You just want them to establish roots and grow strong. And I'll tell you, the next thing you know, you'll look around and my son just goes through the door and shake his head and say, "There's a jungle out here." Because they'll just start growing up so fast. And I'm going to do some severe pruning this year, this winter, and I'm going to take my tripod out and I'm going to let you all see me from beginning to end. Because you remember how I kept telling you how my cosmetology keep intersecting with gardening? I'm going to prune some of these trees like they're getting a haircut. like they getting a $1 million makeover because they have gotten too big. Okay. Any solutions for tomato hornworms? They keep coming back. Yes, ma'am. Number one, insect repellent. I make one with onion, garlic, and red peppers. They don't like the smell of it. Number two, look at my playlist for insects, and you will see a picture or an icon or a thumbprint of a black flashlight with like a purple light. It costs less than $12 on Amazon. You go out in the dark and you check all your tomatoes and your peppers, and the hornworm will be illuminated, and mostly any insect. And so you can catch them real quick. But I haven't had a hornworm, knock on wood, maybe 2 years, because I keep using that insect repellent, the one I told you about. Living Miracle. I never could grow a peach tree until this one. I believe it is the same as you. Yeah, Kathy, that's probably what it is. Too much water. They don't like their feet wet. Love your channel. Oh, Salad as a meal. You're in Houston. Okay, you all got some cooler weather. Cooler than usual. Yes, Kathy, giving those fruit trees will do well, giving them a trim. And you know, because you have some beautiful fruit trees. Dog Bone Malone, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Okay. Okay, I've talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. Uh-oh, I saw something about jungles. I think it was a compliment. The jungles are good. Yes, Auntie, I love it. But he thinks the backyard should look like it did when he was a kid. Because all these kids grew up in this house. I have 3 adult children. And so he's thinking that, you know, out on the driveway should be a basketball goal, and we had the sun deck with the tree and the umbrellas and the cute little furniture, and you can sit out with your feet up and watch TV. It's not like that anymore. Those days are over. What's the movie? Can't think of the name of the movie, but the guy says, I'm the captain now. Well, I'm the gardener in charge now. So we're going to have in that backyard what I want to have in that backyard. Okay, here we go. And Kathy, you have a beautiful jungle. You really do. Okay, Extraordinaire said, this is my first year gardening, and I had a hornworm before I started using the neem oil. It was huge. Yes, honey, they can eat a whole plant overnight. They can eat so fast. I have a gardening group. I started the group in 2015 when I couldn't talk because I had, you know, a lot of surgery in my thyroid, parathyroid, and I couldn't talk. So I started a gardening group on Facebook, and you are welcome to join because I put it on hiatus and I started it back up. But I only take serious gardeners. I don't have anybody in there playing around. I ask 3 simple questions. You must be a member of my Facebook group. And you got to tell me how long you've been gardening and what you like to garden, what you like to grow. A lot of people get in and they feel like they don't need to answer questions. I just decline it because I think it's disrespectful. But I put up a video. So I share things like that I come across in that gardening group. And I put up a video that they didn't speed up and showing you how fast that hornworm, it just goes down the line, just eating, it comes back down again. And it can just devour a leaf so fast you wouldn't believe it. All they do is eat and poop. Because you'll see little black excretion on your leaves. That's how you know you got a hornworm. And you'll see, of course, the stem's still there and all the leaves are eaten. But when you see that little black stuff, you know where they are and you can get rid of them. Okay. So you talk about huge, yeah, that's all they do is eat and rest. Okay, blueberries need acidic soil in the ground unless you're near a pine. It's hard to get your soil acidic. A pot is easier. I still don't know where you're coming from, AC. Are you answering questions or are you teaching? I agree with you what you're saying, but I don't know if you're having a separate conversation. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Dog Boy Malone said, I don't have a garden. One day, hopefully. Hey, you are in the right place. We welcome you. You are doing the right thing. I have a lot of respect for you, Dog Boy Malone, because you're listening. And whether you know it or not, you storing information. And when the time comes, you're going to be able to pull it out of your computer. Because I'm going to share a little quick story with you. I had okra that was doing really well, okay? Then all of a sudden, the pods started coming in malformed. They were big, instead of going straight up like that, you know how okra grows out like that. It started hooking over like this. So something is going on with this. All of a sudden, it was one, I'll break it off, the next thing, and it would get hard real fast. And then it'd be another one, because I was going from like 24 pods a day to 10 or 11 or whatever, and then all of a sudden it was just real sparse and just these malformed, and I said, something is wrong. So I went in and I pulled up a plant. And then by that time they were like trees, little baby trees, and you really yank on it and pull it up. And all of the roots were hanging and had these little knots in them. And I knew what it was, just based upon watching videos, Dog Boy Malone. And that information went into my brain. I said, this is what knotty root is. Put it down, ran in the house, got it on the internet, and that's what I had. All them pictures looked identical to what I had pulled up. And I already knew what to do. You could solarize the beds. You could put marigolds in the beds. Marigolds will eat the bad nematodes that causes the fungus that makes the roots get knotted like that, that made the okra and the eggplant was messing up too. All because I was watching videos on the internet. So when you have a desire, Dog Boy Malone, and anybody else in here, don't just ask a lot of questions. Sit back and listen. Then start doing some research on your own. Because trial and error is the way you're going to learn. And the best ones are the ones where you mess up. That's why I'm not ashamed to tell you all, I killed some fruit trees. I killed a lot of fruit trees. I don't do it now because I learned. Okay, I said, okay, I cannot get a fruit tree, dig a hole, and stick it in the ground. That's not working for me. So I started buying books. I started watching videos. And I ran into a young man, and I just love him to death. And y'all know, the ones that been with me a while know who it is. Lead Farmer 73. I ran into his videos, and I started watching his videos. He's been in it a long time. And he recently blew up. He's got over 100,000 subscribers now. Well, I started watching him when he only had 5,000 subscribers. And his wife, Lady Cheryl, beautiful family. She has a YouTube channel. But I went back and I watched all of his old videos on fruit trees. And it ain't no stopping me now. Do I know everything? No. But I'm confident that if I go and buy another peach tree, I'm not going to kill it like the other 6. Y'all didn't hear me, did you? I just kept buying fruit trees, digging a hole, sticking them in the ground. And then take into consideration my backyard is on a slope and I'm in a flood area. There are, I've never had any water in my home. I don't want to exaggerate and you mistake what I'm trying to say. I've never had to flood inside my house, but I'm in a low area that we get a lot of water outside. Okay. Coasting, is this Darren Waits? Coasting Container Garden. I think this is Darren Waits. You know the name of my YouTube channel, Facebook channel. It's the same name as my YouTube channel. Lady Cheryl's Organic Food Forest and Products. Okay, Debbie Ape said the cable man came today and told me I needed more land to grow because I have so much growing in my backyard. Tell the cable man to get a life. Get a life and get this tree and grow as many trees as you can, sister. Cool. The audacity of him telling you what you need to get more land. No, he needs to try some. Okay, blessed too. That's too funny. I'm sorry. I apologize to the cable man. Blessed too. At Lady Cheryl, I'm at 5B and I have a lot of new flowers on my Roma tomato plants. My first frost date is next week sometime. Can I... I'm so sorry, because sometimes when... No, I'm blessed too. Can you take some of the cuttings in and clone them for next year? Keep them alive all week, all winter long? I say no. 5B, it's cold. It's going to be a long time. You're talking about April, May before it get warm again. I wouldn't waste my time, sweetie. I just wouldn't. Because tomato seeds are so cheap. And you can start growing your tomato seeds probably about February or March. And they'll be stronger and better shape than it would be for you trying to clone a couple branches and keep them alive over the winter when you can have a vibrant, healthy plant. That's my advice to you. Now, I'm not saying that you can't, but I wouldn't do it. Hi, Stephanie. Good to see you. Do they eat beans too? Do you talking about hornworms? I've never seen them eating beans. I've seen Japanese beetles eating up beans, but I could be wrong. Mel B said their poop looked like little grenades. The hornworms, yeah, they do. Lady Cheryl's organic food for us. Okay, thank you, Auntie. Appreciate you. AC. Did you answer my question? I don't even know who AC is answering questions. Anyway, thank you, AC and Shelly, for whatever the question was. Great weather in Houston. You grow 20 fruit trees and a garden. All right. Salad as a meal. That is wonderful. I've got about 60, including my banana plants, but I have 3 I'm going to give to my daughter and her husband. Erica Jones said, my sweet potatoes have been slow to produce vines. I planted them in June. When will they be ready? Let them grow as long as you can. Harvest them before the first time the weather gets 32 degrees, frost or freeze. Since they're growing slow, I will wait as long as you can. Where I live, we plant them in May, and we can start harvesting around October, November. Ladybug is canning chow chow. Okay, come on. In memory of her grandmother who made chow chow. Yeah, every time I eat a little chow chow, my grandfather called it chow chow. And people don't know what I'm saying when I say chow chow, so I say chow chow. But every time I eat it reminds me of my grandfather. He loved it with black-eyed peas. I like it with greens and cornbread. Okay. Oh, bless you. Thank you, Dog Boy Malone. I try. Brenda King, that is what I do at times. I take notes. Yeah. Somebody said they're embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed about anything, because we are all learning in here. I think a smart person is one who is a lifelong learner. When you get to the point where you think you know everything, hey, you might just lay down and die. Ain't nothing else to learn. Ain't nothing else to do. You know everything. You done live life to the fullest, so I want to keep on learning. You know, when I was teaching beauty school, I would start off the class when I had a new group with theory. I would say, I got a hypothetical question for you. If you were an apple on a tree, a green apple on the tree, and you know that the sun is out, is shining on you, and you're getting bigger and you're getting stronger and you're ripening, which would you rather be? An apple in the green stage or the one that's ripe? Somebody type it for me. First person type it in, I'll give you some seeds, 10 pack of seeds. I want to know what you're saying. Okay, I'm waiting for the answer. Okay, I'm not getting any answer. Oh, okay, here we go. I'm going back and I'm going to see who wrote who typed it in first. And right after Clausen World said good evening everyone, one came Pit Stop Kitchen and Garden. She said green. T. Morris said green. The seeds are going to Pit Stop Kitchen Garden. Please email me at Cheryl, Cheryl, Moss, MOSS, 0875 at att.net. Now, if you forget, just go in any one of my videos except this one, and it'll have my email address in there, and put seed winner in the subject line. And next time I go to the post office, if I don't have a lot of orders I'm packing, I will send you some seeds. And whoever won last week, I mailed your seeds off, I think Friday. You should have got them today or tomorrow. But Pit Stop Kitchen is the first one that said green. And Living Homestead said green. And Yolanda said green. Everybody said green, just about. I guess you all said green because I gave you the prerequisite to the question about once you learn everything, you might just lay down and die. Because what happens to a ripe apple when it gets all ripe and juicy and everything in it? What happens to it if somebody doesn't come pick it? It falls off and dies. So I want to stay green. I want to stay in the sunshine. I want the rain to fall down on me. I apologize for my allergies being real bad, guys. I'm sure my eyes were crazy. Let me try to wipe them out. Yeah, I don't want to know everything. I don't want to know everything, and I don't want to be right. So I want to lay in that sun and soak up all the knowledge that I can. Congratulations, Pit Stop Kitchen and Gardens. And a whole lot of you answered it correctly. Okay, I had to take care of something. I wanted to stay attached to the vine that our Messiah, I didn't get the rest of it. But I understand what you're saying, focus on the truth. You want to learn. I'm still learning too. Okay, guys, if there are, I think I saw a question. I'm going to get that one. And then, because I saw Mama, Sister, Daughter ask somebody to put it in all caps. And I saw, okay, focus on the truth. You didn't put it in all caps, but I see it. Shalom, my beautiful sister. You're in 6B, wondering about what to do with okra during the colder months. It's over. You can't winterize it. It's going to die. In fact, I cut mine down today so I can make room, that real estate, for something else. You cannot overwinter okra unless you live in a real hot climate. So you're in 6B, that's it. It's over. And you can just save you a pile of okra and you'll have enough okra for the next year. They're very easy to harvest. Okay, Erica, a lot of people said the same thing that I said. I think, okay, I might have accidentally deleted somebody. Yeah, oh, I know what happened. Kurt Miller said ripe with rot. I don't think you're trying to be funny. I don't know. I don't know about that one. That's questionable. Okay. 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 So I guess that's going to be the end of our live chat tonight. We talked about now is the time to get those bugs and insects out of your garden with your organic sprays. I recommend neem oil. I recommend that if you're in a dry climate to use diatomaceous earth. It's a powder. Once it gets wet, you have to reapply it. Now is the time to get a lot of the insects out of your garden. Use the orange oil if you have ants. Use the hydrochloro dormant spray for your fruit trees. It's organic. And try to grow as much as you can by broadcasting seeds. Pick up a few transplants if you can, especially if you're working outside the home. It's nothing wrong with buying transplants. Okay? All right. Don't forget to email me, Pit Stop Kitchen and Garden, so that I can get your your mailing address so I can send you 10 packs of seeds. Oh, there's one more thing I want to show you guys. This is the latest product to my collection. It's a natural soy wax candle with essential oils. I don't want to tip it too far because I don't want it to spill over. And tonight will be the final testing stage of it because it can burn for 60 hours. It's a luxury candle. You can dip your finger in the liquid soy wax and use as a massage oil. Really good for you. It will not go bad. The scent is the same heavenly scent. Mama, sister, daughter, as you bought the fragrance oil with my special blend of lemongrass, lavender, and hibiscus. I had it. The fragrance, it's in my hair milk. It's in my total body oil for your hair and your skin. It's the same scent. And if you didn't know, lemongrass and lavender repel insects. So you can sit outside in the summertime with this and the mosquitoes won't bother you. Especially if you layer it with the fragrance oil. So it'll be on my website probably tomorrow. Lady Cheryl's products. I would appreciate if you would consider purchasing something from my website, especially with the holidays coming up sooner than you realize. And yeah, natural soil with essential oils. And I use I don't know if you can see this. You don't see that smoke that you see in the paraffin wax candles, and that's because I have a special cotton tweeted wick that doesn't release carcinogenics in the air, soot, because those carcinogenics can give you cancer. So I switched to soy candles years ago in the 90s, and I started making candles in 2005. And then I told you guys I got sick in 2015, so I stopped making candles for about 5 years, but I had everything. I had all my equipment. All I needed was wax. And by the way, soy wax does not spoil. It's like honey. It lasts forever. But that was all that I needed was some new containers and, of course, my label with my logo there. And I had everything else. Okay? I never gave up that I wasn't going to be able to do it again. All right, baby. Oh, somebody want to know the candle? 1999. Remember, it's a luxury candle. It's an essential oils, and soy wax. It's it's gonna be a little bit more because of what it is. But some people sell these candles for like $40. But 19.99. I'm trying to keep everything affordable on my website. Okay, so I think that's it. I think I got everybody's question. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. You know that I try my best to answer your questions. If I can't, I direct you to where you can. You know that God loves you and I love you too. Good night, everybody. Until Monday night, I hope I see you again. Okay, let me find the X. There we go. Good night.